Let's talk about a part of your body that is absolutely critical to your health, but you probably almost never think about it. It's called the lymphatic system. And look, for a lot of people, it sounds a little esoteric, maybe even a bit woo, something you hear about with strange wellness trends. But as we're about to see, it's actually an incredible, powerful system that you are in direct control of.
It really all starts with a simple question. You've probably seen this trend, right? People jumping up and down on those little mini trampolines. They call it rebounding, and they swear it has these major health benefits. It looks a little odd, I get it, but what if there's a very real scientific reason they're doing it? And it's not just the trampolines. Think about other things, like gentle body shaking, or people using those jade rollers on their face, or even getting massages that are surprisingly light. At first glance, they can all seem a bit goofy, kind of new agey, but what's the connection? And, more importantly, do they actually work?
Well, that's exactly what we're going to break down today. First, we'll look at those bizarre health hacks. Then we're going to uncover the science behind them by exploring your body's own pumpless drainage system. After that, we'll get into some super simple tools to get your own fluid flowing. And we'll wrap up with your brain's incredible nightly detox process.
So, let's start with those health hacks we mentioned. It's time to peel back the curtain a little bit and move from the woo to the real why. And here's the secret. Once you understand the structure and the function of one particular system in your body, all of these seemingly odd practices, they suddenly make perfect sense. There is a powerful scientific reason they are so effective, and it all comes down to helping out a system that just can't help itself.
And that secret system is what this is all about, the pumpless drainage system. This is where we meet the hero of our story, your body's forgotten superhighway, the lymphatic system. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. We all know the cardiovascular system, right? It's a two-way loop with a super powerful pump, your heart, and its job is delivering oxygen and nutrients everywhere. The lymphatic system, on the other hand, is a one-way street. It clears out waste and excess fluid, but here's the key difference. It has no pump. Zero. It is a completely passive system, which means it relies entirely on you to make it work. And the job it does is massive. Every single day, this system is responsible for clearing 3 to 4 liters of excess fluid, cellular waste, and all sorts of other gunk from the spaces between your cells. If it didn't do that, you'd be in serious trouble really, really quickly. So what happens when this drainage system gets backed up or stalls? Well, waste products build up, you get fluid accumulation, that's called edema, your risk of infection shoots up, and it can lead to chronic inflammation. And this directly connects to how you feel every day. You know that sluggish feeling, that inability to think clearly, what we all call brain fog? A lot of the time, that's a direct result of your lymphatic system not clearing things out properly. Okay, so if the problem is a pumpless system that's constantly fighting gravity, what's the solution? That's what we're covering next. The tools you need to get that fluid flowing. This is where we learn how to become the pump. And here it is, the simple, elegant solution. The movement of your body, specifically the contraction of your muscles, is the pump for your lymphatic system. Every time your muscles squeeze, they're physically pushing that fluid through these one-way vessels, moving it up your body and back towards your heart. So the takeaway here is that basically any low-level muscular contraction helps. This is why walking is so powerful. Aiming for something like 7,000 steps a day is a fantastic goal. It's why swimming is so good for you. And it brings us right back to our original question about rebounding. That gentle jumping constantly contracts and relaxes your muscles, which very effectively pumps that fluid along its one-way path. Even daily chores like vacuuming, they all contribute. But what if you're stuck at a desk all day? There's another incredibly powerful tool you can use, diaphragmatic breathing, or belly breathing. When you breathe deeply, letting your belly expand when you inhale, you actually change the pressure inside your torso. This acts like an internal pump, drawing lymph fluid from this major reservoir in your abdomen and moving it back into circulation. Just a few deep belly breaths can make a huge difference. And what about massage? It's really important to get this right. We're not talking about a deep, forceful, no pain, no gain kind of massage. The lymphatic vessels right near the surface of your skin are incredibly delicate. As the source material points out, lymphatic massage is intentionally light. It's meant to gently push the fluid along without collapsing those tiny vessels. And that's exactly why things like jade rollers use such gentle pressure.
All right, now for what I think is the coolest part of this whole story. Let's see how this entire system applies to our most important organ, the brain. In our final section, we're going to look at the brain's nightly detox and meet the glymphatic system, the brain's own specialized version of this cleaning crew. Let me ask you this. Have you ever woken up after a bad night's sleep, looked in the mirror, and just seen a puffy face with bags under your eyes? Of course, right? We all have. Well, that is a visible external sign that your brain's waste clearance system didn't get its job done properly. This system is just incredible. And get this, scientists only discovered it in 2012. During deep sleep, the space around the blood vessels in your brain literally expands by 60%. This creates these channels for cerebral spinal fluid to wash through your brain tissue, collecting all the metabolic waste, like the amyloid plaques linked to Alzheimer's, and flushing it all out. It's like a power wash for your brain that only happens when you're deeply asleep. So, how can you help this process? Well, the most important thing, no surprise, is to prioritize deep, quality sleep. But some fascinating research also shows that sleeping on your side, either left or right, is more effective for this waste clearance than sleeping on your back or stomach. Slightly elevating your head can also help with drainage, and, just like before, regular exercise during the day significantly boosts the efficiency of this nightly cleanup crew. So we've seen that from brain fog to a puffy face and even your long-term brain health, this silent partner is always working behind the scenes. But it can't do the job alone. It needs you to be the pump. Which really leaves us with one final thought. Is your daily movement, your walks, your chores, even the way you breathe, truly powering this critical silent partner in your health?